The Complete Works of William Shakespeare by William Shakespeare. Act 2. Scene I. The Grecian Camp. Enter Ajax and Thersites. Ajax. Thersites. Thersites. Agamemnon, how if he had boils, full, all over, generally? Ajax. Thersites. Thersites. And those boils did run, say so. Did not the general run then? Were not that a bocce corps? Ajax. Dog. Thersites. Then there would come some matter from him. I see none now. Ajax. Thou bitch-wolf's son, canst thou not hear? Feel then. Strikes him. Thersites. The plague of Greece upon thee, thou mongrel beef-witted lord. Ajax. Speak then, thou unsalted leaven, speak. I will beat thee into handsomeness. Thersites. I shall sooner rail thee into wit and holiness. But I think thy horse will sooner con an oration than thou learn a prayer without book. Thou canst strike, canst thou? A red murrain o' thy jade's tricks. Ajax. Toadstool, learn me the proclamation. Thersites. Dost thou think I have no sense, thou strikest me thus? Ajax. The proclamation. Thersites. Thou art proclaimed fool, I think. Ajax. Do not, Porpentine, do not, my fingers itch. Thersites. I would thou didst itch from head to foot, and I had the scratching of thee. I would make thee the loathsomest scab in Greece. When thou art forth in the incursions, thou strikest as slow as another. Ajax. I say, the proclamation. Thersites. Thou grumblest and railest every hour on Achilles, and thou art as full of envy at his greatness as Cerberus is at Proserpina's beauty, that thou barkst at him. Ajax. Mistress Thersites. Thersites. Thou shouldst strike him. Ajax. Cob loaf. Thersites. He would pun thee into shivers with his fist, as a sailor breaks a biscuit. Ajax. You whoreson cur! Strikes him. Thersites. Do. Ajax. Thou stool for a witch. Thersites. I do, thou sodden-witted lord. Thou hast no more brain than I have in mine elbows, and a cynico may tutor thee. You scurvy valiant ass. Thou art here but to thrash Trojans, and thou art bought and sold among those of any wit like a barbarian slave. If thou used to beat me, I will begin at thy heel and tell what thou art by inches, thou thing of no bowels, thou. Ajax. You dog. Thersites. You scurvy lord. Ajax. You cur. Strikes him. Thersites. Mars his idiot. Do rudeness, do camel, do. Enter Achilles and Patroclus. Achilles. Why, how now, Ajax? Wherefore do ye thus? How now, Thersites? What's the matter, man? Thersites. You see him there, do you? Achilles. Aye, what's the matter? Thersites. Nay, look upon him. Achilles. So I do. What's the matter? Thersites. Nay, but regard him well. Achilles. Well? Why, so I do. Thersites. But yet you look not well upon him, for whosoever you take him to be, he is Ajax. Achilles. I know that fool. Thersites. Aye, but that fool knows not himself. Ajax. Therefore I beat thee. Thersites. Lo, what modicums of wit he utters. His evasions have ears thus long. I have bobbed his brain more than he has beat my bones. I will buy 9 sparrows for a penny, and his pia mater is not worth the 9th part of a sparrow. This lord, Achilles Ajax, who wears his wit in his belly and his guts in his head, I'll tell you what I say of him. Achilles. What? Thersites. I say this Ajax offers to strike him. Achilles. Nay, good Ajax. Thersites. Has not so much wit Achilles. Nay, I must hold you. Thersites. as will stop the eye of Helen's needle, for whom he comes to fight. Achilles. Peace, fool. Thersites. I would have peace and quietness, but the fool will not heed that he, look you there. Ajax. O thou damned cur! I shall Achilles. Will you set your wit to a fool's? Thersites. No, I warrant you, the fools will shame it. Patroclus. Good words, the sights. Achilles. What's the quarrel? Ajax. I bade the vile owl go learn me the tenor of the proclamation, and he rails upon me. Thersites. I serve thee not. Ajax. Well, go to. Thersites. I serve here voluntary. Achilles. Your last service was sufferance, 'twas not voluntary. No man is beaten voluntary. Ajax was here the voluntary, and you as under an impress. Thersites. E'en so, a great deal of your wit too lies in your sinews, or else there be liars. Hector shall have a great catch and knock out either of your brains, or were as good crack a fusty nut with no kernel. Achilles. What, with me too, the sights? Thersites. There's Ulysses and old Nestor, whose wit was mouldy ere your grandsires had nails on their toes, yoke you like draft oxen, and make you plough up the wars. Achilles. What? Thersites. Yes, good sooth. To Achilles, to Ajax. I shall cut out your tongue. Thersites. 'Tis no matter, I shall speak as much as thou afterwards. Patroclus. No more words, the sights, peace. Thersites. I will hold my peace when Achilles Brock bids me, shall I? Achilles. There's for you, Patroclus. Thersites. I will see you hanged like clotpoles ere I come any more to your tents. I will keep where there is wit stirring, and leave the faction of fools. Exit. Patroclus. A good riddance. Achilles. Marry, this, sir, is proclaimed through all our hosts that Hector, by the 5th hour of the sun, will with a trumpet twixt our tents and Troy, tomorrow morning, call some knight to arms that hath a stomach, and such a one that dare maintain I know not what, 'tis trash. Farewell. Ajax. Farewell. Who shall answer him? Achilles. I know not, 'tis put to lottery, otherwise he knew his man. Ajax. Oh, meaning you? I will go learn more of it. Exeunt. Scene 2. Troy. Priam's palace. Enter Priam, Hector, Troilus, Paris, and Helenus. Priam. After so many hours, lives, speeches spent, thus once again says Nestor from the Greeks, deliver Helen, and all damage else as honor, loss of time, travail, expense, wounds, friends, and what else dear that is consumed in hot digestion of this cormorant war shall be struck off. Hector, what say you tit? Hector. Though no man lesser fears the Greeks than I, as far as toucheth my particular, yet, dread Priam, there is no lady of more softer bowels, more spongy to suck in the sense of fear, more ready to cry out who knows what follows? Than Hector is. The wound of peace is surety secure, but modest doubt is called the beacon of the wise, the tent that searches to bottom of the worse. Let Helen go. Since the first sword was drawn about this question, every tithe soul mongst many thousand dimes hath been as dear as Helen, I mean, of ours. If we have lost so many tenths of ours to guard a thing not ours, nor worth to us, had it our name, the value of 1/10, what merits in that reason which denies the yielding of her up? Troilus. Fie, my brother! Weigh you the worth and honor of a king, so great as our dread fathers, in a scale of common ounces? Will you with counters sum the past proportion of his infinite, and buckle in a waist most fathomless with spans and inches so diminutive as fears and reasons? Fie, for godly shame! Helenus. No marvel though you bite so sharp of reasons, you are so empty of them. Should not our Father bear the great sway of his affairs with reason, because your speech hath none that tells him so? Troilus. You are for dreams and slumbers, brother priest. You fur your gloves with reason. Here are your reasons. You know an enemy intends you harm. You know a sword employed is perilous, and reason flies the object of all harm. Who marvels, then, when Helenus beholds a Grecian and his sword, if he do set the very wings of reason to his heels and fly like chin Mercury from Jove, or like a star disorbed? Nay, if we talk of reason, let's shut our gates and sleep. Manhood and honor should have hare hearts, would they but fat their thoughts with this crammed reason. Reason and respect make livers pale and lustihood deject. Hector. Brother, she is not worth what she doth cost the keeping. Troilus. What's aught but as 'tis valued? Hector. But value dwells not in particular will, it holds his estimate and dignity as well wherein 'tis precious of itself as in the prizer. 'Tis mad idolatry to make the service greater than the god, and the will dotes that is attributive to what infectiously itself affects, without some image of th affected merit. Troilus. I take today a wife, and my election is led on in the conduct of my will enkindled by mine eyes and ears, two traded pilots twixt the dangerous shores of will and judgment. How may I avoid, although my will distaste what it elected, the wife I chose? There can be no evasion to blench from this and to stand firm by honor. We turn not back the silks upon the merchant when we have soiled them, nor the remainder viands we do not throw in unrespective sieve, because we now are full. It was thought me Paris should do some vengeance on the Greeks. Your breath with full consent bellied his sails. The seas and winds, old wranglers, took a truce and did him service. He touched the port's desert, and for an old aunt whom the Greeks held captive he brought a Grecian queen, whose youth and freshness wrinkles Apollo's, and makes stale the morning. Why keep we her? The Grecians keep our aunt. Is she worth keeping? Why, she is a pearl whose price hath launched above 1,000 ships, and turned crowned kings to merchants. If Eula vouched 'twas wisdom Paris went as you must needs, for you all cried go, go if you'll confess he brought home worthy prize as you must needs, for you all clapped your hands, and cried inestimable. Why do you now the issue of your proper wisdom's rate, and do a deed that never fortune did beggar the estimation which you prized richer than sea and land? O theft most base, that we have stolen what we do fear to keep. But thieves unworthy of a thing so stolen that in their country did them that disgrace we feared to warrant in our native place. Cassandra. Within. Cry, Trojans, cry. Priam. What noise, what shriek is this? Troilus. 'Tis our mad sister, I do know her voice. Cassandra. Within. Cry, Trojans. Hector. It is Cassandra. Enter Cassandra raving. Cassandra. Cry, Trojans, cry. Lend me 10,000 eyes, and I will fill them with prophetic tears. Hector. Peace, sister, peace. Cassandra. Virgins and boys, mid-age and wrinkled eld, soft infancy, that nothing canst but cry, add to my clamors. Let us pay betimes a moiety of that mass of moan to come. Cry, Trojans, cry. Practice your eyes with tears. Troy must not be, nor goodly Ilion stand. Our firebrand brother, Paris, burns us all. Cry, Trojans, cry, a Helen and a woe! Cry, cry. Troy burns, or else let Helen go. Exit. Hector. Now, youthful Troilus, do not these high strains of divination in our sister work some touches of remorse? Or is your blood so madly hot, that no discourse of reason, nor fear of bad success in a bad cause, can qualify the same? Troilus. Why, brother Hector, we may not think the justness of each act such and no other than event doth form it, nor once deject the courage of our minds because Cassandra's mad. Her brain-sick raptures cannot distaste the goodness of a quarrel which hath our several honors all engagged to make it gracious. For my private part, I am no more touched than all Priam's sons, and Jove forbid there should be done amongst us such things as might offend the weakest spleen to fight for and maintain. Paris. Else might the world convince of levity as well my undertakings as your counsels. But I attest the gods, your full consent gave wings to my propension, and cut off all fears attending on so dire a project. For what, alas, can these my single arms? What propugnation is in one man's valor to stand the push and enmity of those this quarrel would excite? Yet I'd protest, were I alone to pass the difficulties, and had as ample power as I have will, Paris should ne'er retract what he hath done, nor faint in the pursuit. Priam. Paris, you speak like one besotted on your sweet delights. You have the honey still, but these the gall, so to be valiant is no praise at all. Paris. Sir, I propose not merely to myself the pleasures such a beauty brings with it, but I would have the soil of her fair rape whipped off in honorable keeping her. What treason were it to the ransacked queen, disgrace to your great worths, and shame to me, now to deliver her possession up on terms of base compulsion? Can it be, that so degenerate a strain as this should once set footing in your generous bosoms? There's not the meanest spirit on our party without a heart to dare or sword to draw when Helen is defended, nor none so noble whose life were ill bestowed or death unfamed, where Helen is the subject. Then I say, well may we fight for her whom we know well the world's large spaces cannot parallel. Hector. Paris and Troilus, you have both said well, and on the cause in question now in hand have glozed, but superficially, not much unlike young men, whom Aristotle thought unfit to hear moral philosophy. The reasons you allege do more conduce to the hot passion of distempered blood than to make up a free determination twixt right and wrong, for pleasure and revenge have ears more deaf than adders to the voice of any true decision. Nature craves all dues be rendered to their owners. Now, what nearer debt in all humanity than wife is to the husband? If this law of nature be corrupted through affection, and that great minds, of partial indulgence to their benumbed wills, resist the same, there is a law in each well-ordered nation to curb those raging appetites that are most disobedient and refractory. If Helen, then, be wife to Sparta's king as it is known she is, these moral laws of nature and of nations speak aloud to have her back returned. Thus to persist in doing wrong extenuates not wrong, but makes it much more heavy. Hector's opinion is this, in way of truth. Yet, any earthless, my sprightly brethren, I propend to you in resolution to keep Helen still, for 'tis a cause that hath no mean dependence upon our joint and several dignities. Troilus. Why, there you touch the life of our design. Were it not glory that we more affected than the performance of our heaving spleens, I would not wish a drop of Trojan blood spent more in her defense. But worthy Hector, she is a theme of honor and renown, a spur to valiant and magnanimous deeds, whose present courage may beat down our foes, and fame in time to come canonize us. For I presume brave Hector would not lose so rich advantage of a promised glory as smiles upon the forehead of this action for the wide world's revenue. Hector. I am yours, you valiant offspring of great Priamus. I have a roisting challenge sent amongst the dull and factious nobles of the Greeks will strike amazement to their drowsy spirits. I was advertised their great general slept, whilst emulation in the army crept. This, I presume, will wake him. Exeunt. Scene 3. The Grecian Camp. Before the tent of Achilles. Enter Thersites solus. Thersites. How now, Thersites? What, lost in the labyrinth of thy fury? Shall the elephant Ajax carry it thus? He beats me, and I rail at him. O worthy satisfaction! Would it were otherwise that I could beat him, whilst he railed at me. Sfoot, I'll learn to conjure and raise devils, but I'll see some issue of my spiteful execrations. Then there's Achilles, a rare engineer. If Troy be not taken till these two undermine it, the walls will stand till they fall of themselves. O thou great thunder-darter of Olympus, forget that thou art Jove, the king of gods, and Mercury, lose all the serpentine craft of thy caduceus, if ye take not that little less than little wit from them that they have, which short-armed ignorance itself knows is so abundant scarce, it will not in circumvention deliver a fly from a spider without drawing their massy irons and cutting the web. After this, the vengeance on the whole camp. Or, rather, the Neapolitan bonake. For that, methinks, is the curse depending on those that war for a placket. I have said my prayers, and devil and thee say amen. What ho! My lord Achilles! Enter Patroclus. Patroclus. Who's there? The sights. Good the sights, come in and rail. Thersites. If I could have remembered a gilt counterfeit, thou wouldst not have slipped out of my contemplation. But it is no matter. Thyself upon thyself. The common curse of mankind, folly and ignorance, be thine in great revenue. Heaven bless thee from a tutor, and discipline come not near thee. Let thy blood be thy direction till thy death. Then if she that lays thee out says thou art a fair course, I'll be sworn and sworn upon she never shrouded any but Lazars. Amen. Where's Achilles? Patroclus. What, art thou devout? Wast thou in prayer? Thersites. Aye, the heavens hear me. Patroclus. Amen. Enter Achilles. Achilles. Who's there? Patroclus. Sights, my lord. Achilles. Where? Oh, where? Art thou come? Why, my cheese, my digestion, why hast thou not served thyself into my table so many meals? Come, what's Agamemnon? Thersites. Thy commander, Achilles. Then tell me, Patroclus, what's Achilles? Patroclus. Thy lord, the sights. Then tell me, I pray thee, what's the sights? Thersites. Thy knower, Patroclus. Then tell me, Patroclus, what art thou? Patroclus. Thou must tell that knowest. Achilles. Oh, tell, Thersites. I'll decline the whole question. Agamemnon commands Achilles. Achilles is my lord. I am Patroclus' knower, and Patroclus is a fool. Patroclus. You rascal! Thersites. Peace, fool! I have not done. Achilles. He is a privileged man. Proceed, the sights. Thersites. Agamemnon is a fool, Achilles is a fool, the sights is a fool, and, as aforesaid, Patroclus is a fool. Achilles. Derive this, come. Thersites. Agamemnon is a fool to offer to command Achilles. Achilles is a fool to be commanded of Agamemnon. The sights is a fool to serve such a fool, and this Patroclus is a fool positive. Patroclus. Why am I a fool? Thersites. Make that demand of the Creator. It suffices me thou art. Look you, who comes here? Enter Agamemnon, Ulysses, Nestor, Diomedes, Ajax and Calchas. Achilles. Come, Patroclus, I'll speak with nobody. Come in with me, the sights. Exit. Thersites. Here is such patchery, such juggling, and such knavery. All the argument is a whore and a cuckold, a good quarrel to draw emulous factions and bleed to death upon. Now the dry serpigo on the subject, and war and lechery confound all. Exit. Agamemnon. Where is Achilles? Patroclus. Within his tent, but ill-disposed, my lord. Agamemnon. Let it be known to him that we are here. He sate our messengers, and we lay by our appertainings, visiting of him. Let him be told so, lest, perchance, he think we dare not move the question of our place or know not what we are. Patroclus. I shall say so to him. Exit. Ulysses. We saw him at the opening of his tent. He is not sick. Ajax. Yes, lion sick, sick of proud heart. You may call it melancholy, if you will favor the man, but by my head, 'tis pride. But why? Let him show us a cause. A word, my lord. Takes Agamemnon aside. Nestor. What moves Ajax thus to bay at him? Ulysses. Achilles hath inveigled his fool from him. Nestor. Who the sights? Ulysses. Nestor. Then will Ajax lack matter, if he have lost his argument? Ulysses. No, you see he is his argument that has his argument, Achilles. Nestor. All the better, their fraction is more our wish than their faction. But it was a strong composure a fool could disunite. Ulysses. The amity that wisdom knits not, folly may easily untie. Re-enter Patroclus. Here comes Patroclus. Nestor. No Achilles with him. Ulysses. The elephant hath joints, but none for courtesy. His legs are legs for necessity, not for flexure. Patroclus. Achilles bids me say he is much sorry if anything more than your sport and pleasure did move your greatness, and this noble state to call upon him. He hopes it is no other but for your health and your digestion's sake, and after dinner's breath. Agamemnon. Hear you, Patroclus. We are too well acquainted with these answers, but his evasion, winged thus swift with scorn, cannot outfly our apprehensions. Much attribute he hath, and much the Ariae. Son, why we ascribe it to him. Yet all his virtues, not virtuously on his own part beheld, do in our eyes begin to lose their gloss, yea, like fair fruit in an unwholesome dish, are like to rot untasted. Go, and tell him we come to speak with him, and you shall not sin if you do say we think him overproud and underhonest, in self-assumption greater than in the note of judgment, and worthier than himself. Here tend the savage strangeness he puts on, disguise the holy strength of their command, and underwrite in an observing kind his humorous predominance, yea, watch his course and time, his ebbs and flows, as if the passage and whole stream of this commencement rode on his tide. Go tell him this, and add that if he overhold his price so much will none of him, but let him, like an engine not portable, lie under this report, bring action hither, this cannot go to war. A stirring dwarf we do allowance give before a sleeping giant. Tell him so. Patroclus. I shall, and bring his answer presently. Exit. Agamemnon. In second voice will not be satisfied. We come to speak with him. Ulysses, enter you. Exit Ulysses. Ajax. What is he more than another? Agamemnon. No more than what he thinks he is. Ajax. Is he so much? Do you not think he thinks himself a better man than I am? Agamemnon. No question. Ajax. Will you subscribe his thought and say he is? Agamemnon. No, noble Ajax, you are as strong, as valiant, as wise, no less noble, much more gentle, and altogether more tractable. Ajax. Why should a man be proud? How doth pride grow? I know not what pride is. Agamemnon. Your mind is the clearer, Ajax, and your virtues the fairer. He that is proud eats up himself. Pride is his own glass, his own trumpet, his own chronicle, and whatever praises itself but in the deed devours the deed in the praise. Re-enter Ulysses. Ajax. I do hate a proud man as I do hate the engendering of toads. Nestor. Aside. And yet he loves himself, is not strange. Ulysses. Achilles will not to the field tomorrow. Agamemnon. What's his excuse? Ulysses. He doth rely on none, but carries on the stream of his dispose, without observance or respect of any, in what peculiar, and in self-admission. Agamemnon. Why will he not, upon our fair request, untent his person and share thr with us? Ulysses. Things small as nothing, for request's sake only, he makes important. Possessed he is with greatness, and speaks not to himself but with a pride that quarrels at self-breath. Imagined worth holds in his blood such swollen and hot discourse that twixt his mental and his active parts kingdomed Achilles in commotion rages, and batters down himself. What should I say? He is so plaguy proud that the death tokens of it cry no recovery. Agamemnon. Let Ajax go to him. Dear lord, go you and greet him in his tent. 'Tis said he holds you well, and will be led at your request a little from himself. Ulysses. O Agamemnon, let it not be so. We'll consecrate the steps that Ajax makes when they go from Achilles. Shall the proud lord that bastes his arrogance with his own seam and never suffers matter of the world enter his thoughts, save such as doth revolve and ruminate himself, shall he be worshipped of that we hold an idol more than he? No, this thrice worthy and right valiant lord shall not so stale his palm, nobly acquired, nor, by my will, subjugate his merit, as amply titled as Achilles is, by going to Achilles. That were to enlard his fat already pride, and add more coals to cancer when he burns with entertaining great Hyperion. This lord go to him. Jupiter forbid, and say in thunder Achilles go to him. Nestor. Aside. Oh, this is well. He rubs the vein of him. Diomedes. Aside. And how his silence drinks up this applause. Ajax. If I go to him, with my armed fist I'll pash him o'er the face. Agamemnon. Oh, no, you shall not go. Ajax. And to be proud with me I'll feeze his pride. Let me go to him. Ulysses. Not for the worth that hangs upon our quarrel. Ajax. A paltry, insolent fellow. Nestor. Aside. How he describes himself. Ajax. Can he not be sociable? Ulysses. Aside. The raven chides blackness. Ajax. I'll let his humor's blood. Agamemnon. Aside. He will be the physician that should be the patient. Ajax. And all men were o' my mind Ulysses. Aside. Wit would be out of fashion. Ajax. I should not bear it so, I should eat's words first. Shall pride carry it? Nestor. Aside. And 'twould you'd carry half. Ulysses. Aside. I would have 10 shares. Ajax. I will knead him, I'll make him supple. Nestor. Aside. He's not yet through warm. Force him with praises, pour in, his ambition is dry. Ulysses. To Agamemnon. My lord, you feed too much on this dislike. Nestor. Our noble general, do not do so. Diomedes. You must prepare to fight without Achilles. Ulysses. Why 'tis this naming of him does him harm. Here is a man, but 'tis before his face. I will be silent. Nestor. Wherefore should you so? He is not emulous, as Achilles is. Ulysses. No. The whole world, he is as valiant. Ajax. A horse and dog, that shall palter with us thus. Would he were a Trojan. Nestor. What a vice were it in Ajax now, Ulysses. If he were proud. Diomedes. Or covetous of praise. Ulysses. Ay, or surly born. Diomedes. Or strange or self-affected. Ulysses. Thank the heavens, Lord, thou art of sweet composure. Praise him that gat thee, she that gave thee suck. Famed be thy tutor, and thy parts of nature thrice famed beyond all erudition. But he that disciplined thine arms to fight, let Mars divide eternity in twain and give him half. And for thy vigor, bull-bearing Milo his addition yield to sinewy Ajax. I will not praise thy wisdom, which, like a bourne, a pale, a shore, confines thy spacious and dilated parts. Here's Nestor, instructed by the antiquary times he cannot but be wise. But pardon, Father Nestor, were your days as green as Ajax and your brains so tempered, you should not have the eminence of him, but be as Ajax. Ajax. Shall I call you father? Nestor. Ay, my good son. Diomedes. Be you held by him, Lord Ajax. Ulysses. There is no tarrying here, the hard Achilles keeps thicket. Please it our great general to call together all his state of war. Fresh kings are come to Troy. Tomorrow we must with all our main of power stand fast, And here's a lord come knights from east to west, and cull their flower, Ajax shall cope the best. Agamemnon, go we to council. Let Achilles sleep. Light boats sail swift, though greater hulks draw deep. Exeunt.